Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Isabel and this is my library. In today's video, I bring you the Coffee and Books book tag. So I'd like to start today's video by thanking the 3 people who tagged me in this video, and that is Michelle from Literary Michelle 2025, Jackie from The Reading Wordsmith, and David from David GF Orlando. All 3 of them are booktube friends of mine, and if you're not following their channels, I will have them linked down below so that you can check them out. So in order to go ahead and start this perfect combination book tag, I'll go ahead and read you the prompts and talk to you about the books that I have selected as my answers for each of the tags. So prompt number 1 is called Black Coffee. And the question is, name a series that's tough to get into but has hardcore fans. So the first series that came to mind when I read that prompt was Killing Stalking by Kugi, I believe is the author. And this is one of those series that is very difficult to get into simply because of the subject matter. So in this graphic novel, which is full color, we are following 2 main characters. One of the main characters has developed a crush on this other guy that goes to his school, and they very quickly have an interaction that escalates to the unimaginable, basically the unthinkable. One of them basically becomes the prisoner of the other. And this does come with a lot of trigger warnings. So if you're even remotely interested in reading this, please look up all the trigger warnings. And that's why I chose this for this answer, because I remember after I read volume 1, I was so taken aback that I said to myself, can I continue in the series? Like, I don't even know if I can. But I was so intrigued. I wanted to know more about the story that I decided to continue moving forward. But the subject matter alone is cause enough for you to think twice before you continue in the series. Question number 2 is Peppermint Mocha. Name a book that gets more popular during the winter or a festive time of year. So I don't know about everyone else, but I'm answering this question based on my own personal taste. And during the festive seasons, in particular, I'm thinking December and I'm thinking Christmas time and that kind of vibe. And the book that I am always in the mood for every December is Devotions by Mary Oliver. So in this poetry collection, we find some of Mary Oliver's most beautiful poems. And I feel like there is a poem in this collection for everyone. There are poems for all times of the year, but in particular, I feel like for me personally, December and the holidays are moments of reminiscing and moments of thinking and nostalgia and missing the people that are no longer here with us. So that's why Devotions is such a special holiday read for me, because this book is like a warm hug. These poems invite the reader to go out into nature, go out for a walk, look at the sky, appreciate the beauty of the world around us. And I think we need that most during the holiday season, during December, during the Christmas season. So that's why for me, this is such a rewarding read in the month of December and in the winter months. For example, one of my favorite little parts of this larger poem called At the River Clarion says, "There was someone I loved who grew old and ill. One by one I watched the fires go out. There was nothing I could do except to remember that we receive, then we give back." And all of the poems here are like that. Like, they make us feel like there is this bigger thing that we are a part of, and that we are here on earth for a temporary time, and when our time expires, we don't just disappear and are forgotten, but we come back as part of everything else, right? Like, as a part of like the trees outside and the wind and the sky and just It's just so beautiful, guys. I think it's so inspiring. So, so inspiring. So if you've never read Mary Oliver or read Devotions, I highly encourage you to pick it up in December. I might do another reread of this yet again this December. I think I might need it. I think it's good for the soul, and it's just beautiful. Number 3 is hot chocolate. What is your favorite children's book? So, although I do have quite a few of them, if I had to pick just one, my favorite children's book is The Phantom Tollbooth. This book made me fall in love with the concept of portals and traveling through various worlds and dimensions. And I recall reading this in my 6th grade reading class, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with it, and still to this day, I visit this book every now and then when I'm feeling particularly nostalgic and when I want to remember growing up and being a little girl. So basically, in the Phantom Tollbooth, we are following Milo, this little boy who gets home from school one day and he decides he's going to go ahead and take a nap. And then the doorbell rings a few minutes later, and there's this huge box that gets delivered to him. And he's very curious. And so he opens it up, and all of a sudden, out of the box, like this toll booth emerges. And there's like a car, like a little car. And so he gets in the little car and like crosses through the toll booth, and now he's in this magical world. And I absolutely love books that send me to magical places, that have portal fiction, that there's something that takes us to another world. I love that. There's more books on this list that do that, and that's something that I love. And I love that in this world he went to, he explored like the world of numbers and the world of letters and the kings and the queens of each of these places. And he talks about, like, the power of learning and knowing things. And it's just an educational, nerdy kind of book. And I love it. I love it so much. And again, there's so many books that have this portal fantasy thing that I love, like Alice in Wonderland or The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Those are just children's books that I love because they have that same element of going through a portal and going into some magical land. And that's why this one is so special for me. Question number 4 is double shot of espresso. Name a book that kept you on the edge of your seat from start to finish. And for that, the first thing that comes to mind is The Night Guest by Hildur Notstetter. I think that's how you pronounce that. And this book is so short, but it is intense. It is packed with a roller coaster of emotions. And you just need to know. You need to know what is happening to this woman. So basically, in this, we are following a main character who is waking up every morning very, very tired, and she doesn't understand why. And basically, she discovers that she's walking over 10,000 steps every single night, and she has no recollection of doing this, and she has no idea where she's going. And that's all I'm going to tell you about it, but it definitely keeps you on the edge of your seat. Trigger warnings for animal abuse and animal violence. So if that's something that you that's very bothersome to you, it is a big part of this book. So I wanted to say that as a trigger warning. Number 5, Starbucks. Name a book you see everywhere. And for that one, I have to pick Tender is the Flesh by Agustina Basterica. I feel like this book is everywhere. Before I read it, I saw it everywhere. I had it on my TBR forever. Everyone I knew talked to me about it or mentioned it to me. I even had a student gift it to me. Um, she bought it for me and she said, I was at the bookstore with my mom and I saw this and I thought this would be something you'd be interested in. And she actually bought it for me. And I feel like this book is just everywhere. And after I read it, I still see it everywhere. And I feel like everyone's always posting about it or writing about it or talking about it. So yeah, I think it's just like Starbucks everywhere. Number 6 is that Hipster Coffee Shop. Give a book by an indie author a shout out. So I'm not really sure how indie Keelan Patrick Burke is, but I have to mention him because he's just phenomenal. So I went ahead and picked up from my shelf the four books that I have on my shelf that I haven't read of his. I have like 5 or 6 books of his I have read, and I think he's absolutely wonderful. His books are scary, they're creepy, they keep you on the edge of your seat, and he has great character development. They're very quick reads because the majority of them are short little novellas or collections of short stories. So I highly recommend. I decided to feature these because there's some that I have not read that are on my TBR, but a lot of you have heard me on my channel talking about Sour Candy. That's one of my favorite books from this author. And if you haven't picked up anything by this author and you enjoy horror, I highly recommend it. And he's wonderful to follow on social media. He replies to his readers and shouts them out, and he's just a wonderful person in addition to being a great writer. Number 7, whoops, I accidentally got decaf. Name a book you were expecting more from. And for that, I have to pick Haunt Sweet Home by Sarah Pinsker. And this book was such a letdown for me, guys. I was so excited that this was basically a book in which we followed a ghost hunters kind of show. And it's basically a woman who gets hired to work as a part of this crew, and they go visit various haunted houses and they film and all of this stuff. And I thought I was absolutely going to love this. I bought it very excited. I started to see the terrible reviews, and then I kind of left it on the side for a minute, and then I think I did like a horror novella project or something, and I finally read it and I was super disappointed. I think I gave this like 2 stars, maybe 2.5 stars, but it was just not great. Number 8 is The Perfect Blend. Name a book or series that was both bitter and sweet but ultimately satisfying. So I chose a series for this, and what I mean by bitter and sweet is that this series is so special to me, and a lot of the books make me cry. I have grown invested in the characters. I love the characters. I connect to the characters. So it's so sweet and I love reading them, and I will read this series forever. But it is a little bit bitter in the sense that I think with most books I end up crying because when I get the backstory of the different characters, like, it really affects me. And that is basically the Every Heart a Doorway series by Shannon McGuire. I've talked a lot about this book series in my channel. And basically, if you like portal fantasy, if you like reading about children who were unhappy in their current world, in our current world, and then because of that unhappiness, one day they stumbled upon a door, like randomly where a door should not have been, they found a door by a tree, underneath an ocean water, in a closet, so on and so forth, right? All the doors are in different places. But the children find this door and they open it, and the door has a warning: are you sure you want to go in? And once they go in, they're in their perfect worlds, like in their worlds that they were meant to be in. And then for some reason or another, each of the doors has kicked back the children, and now the children are in this world again, yearning for their doors, yearning to go back to their perfect worlds, whatever those worlds can be. And so in book 1 we meet the a bunch of the main characters, and they are all attending this special school for kids who have been kicked out of a door. Like, it's a special school that helps children cope with never being able to find their doors again. And so that's where we meet the majority of the cast, and obviously throughout the books we meet more of them. I mean, I think we're like in book 9 or 10, so I think we're gonna start book 11. I think book 11 comes out in January. They come out every January, and I've already pre-ordered my January book, okay, for a couple months. And basically in each of the books we get the backstories of the different characters, and we do meet new ones here and there. But yeah, this is such a bittersweet series for me because it hurts me so much when I get the backstories of these characters and I see them yearning for their doors, or I see them wanting like to go back to those worlds because this world is not fair to them or good to them, and the writing is exceptional. If you're even remotely interested in any of these things and you've never read this, please pick it up. It's so good. And these are tiny little books, so you can read them in a sitting or two. And then question number 9, the last one, is called An Irish Pub Song by Rumjacks. And it basically says, what is a book that is misunderstood? And I guess I'm gonna have to go with a book that I love that has really low ratings. And it has to be misunderstood because why would it not be a 5 star? Like, how does anyone read this and not give it a 5 star? So it has to be misunderstood. And that book for me is The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. And this was such a 5 star for me, like without a doubt, 5 star. Like, yes, sign me up, make me read everything Julia Bartz writes. And I just think a lot of people don't get this book. Like they just don't get it. Like I think they don't know that it's supposed to be witty or funny or over the top on purpose. Like I think they're expecting something real. Like they're expecting realism, and then they get to this book and they're like, what the heck was that? And that's exactly what I loved about it. How unhinged, how over the top, how insane this book was. And I loved it. And I think people just don't understand this book. If you agree with me that this is misunderstood, okay, let me know in the comments down below, because I know that although it has low ratings, there has to be a big group of us who feel like The Writing Retreat is a 5 star rating. That's pretty much it, guys. That was this tag. I wish there were more questions. This was so good. And I loved talking to you a little bit about books that I have mentioned before on my channel and some that I've never talked to you about before. Let me know in the comments down below. Have you read any of these? Do you feel like I do about any of these books? I will, of course, tag a couple of you to do this. But if any of you want to do this tag, by all means, go right ahead. Do this tag and tag me in it so I can see your answers. I love doing this. I think it's so much fun. It had been a minute since I had done a book tag, and it feels so good to do one again. Thank you guys who have tagged me in a bunch of different things. I promise I've watched your videos, and I promise I am going to be filming those tags and I'll get to them. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me and this video. And thank you guys so much for watching. Please like this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. I appreciate every single one of you more than you know. Have a good one, guys. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.